not sure that Kyler Murray is big enough. This is Tom Brady. He's not just going to retire. Whitey, big fan of the show. Appreciate I've got Brian Murphy to my left, making sure everything's smooth, crispy, buttery. James Harden is systematically ruining the game of basketball. He's the most overrated player. And there you are, the Chicago Bears with a championship defense. And Mitch, I'm sure Dancing with the Stars is happy to have Antonio back. If you thought you were going to get Zion, that's your bad.
You are now listening to Open Season. Your host, Billy Allen.
Hey. Welcome to another Tuesday. And it's Billy Allen, Open Season. We got Brian Murphy to my left, making sure that everything sounds right.
Hey, everybody.
Keeping it smooth, buttery, and crispy, just how we like it. We got a lot to cover tonight. Alex Cora. Whew, not the nicest day for him. He's out. Chad Johnson might be your next XFL kicker. Luke Kuechly retired. The Patrick Chung drug charge got dropped. Man, if only I was a celebrity. And LSU defeated Clemson for the College National Football Championship as Antonio Brown had another, video that should put him back in the NFL come out. I don't even really want to talk about that, but just Antonio Brown continuing to take money out of his own pockets. But we start out with this. The Red Sox, Alex Cora, it all comes from the Astros. We know they cheated. We know that it took baseball forever to put something down on them. And in the advent of that, everybody's talking about what should happen to Alex Cora. We actually have a clip of Boomer Esiason and Gio going back and forth over what they thought the punishment should be for the Red Sox. Spoiler, that punishment has come down.
Do you think that the commissioner, while some may not find this to be a strong response, he will come out with a significant penalty here? And I think Cora is going to get hit because he's been involved in both of these things.
Organizationally, though, I got to see something, you know?
But here's what I think. It's not going to really involve the players because if it involves the players, then you got to get the union involved. But the moment a guy becomes a manager, a bench coach, that falls under the jurisdiction of the commissioner. Like he has total autonomy over all of you guys when it comes to, or those guys when it comes to suspensions and penalties and punishments. So I think it's going to be significant. I really do. Now, it may not rise to the significance that people would want it to, because then we'll debate the whole thing when it comes down. But I think it's going to be harsh. I really do.
Yeah, punishing an individual, especially a manager, to me is not going to be enough, because I bet you if you talk to A.J. Hinch and Alex Cora, even though they're going to be losing some money, they'll be like, okay, I'll take this one. I'll take the bullet for this one.
It's tainted.
Okay, fine, but it still happened, and no one's going to think that those championships
World
didn't
Series
happen.
are tainted, and they're going to be tied to that.
Organizationally, you got to hit them. You got to hit them with draft picks. You got to hit them with fines. That's the stuff that's going to hurt. Suspending a baseball manager is not going to hurt those organizations.
No, but that's going to be part of it.
It has to.
So there you got Boomer and Gio going back and forth over what they think this punishment should be. Everybody's been talking about it. And the Red Sox actually finally acting in the way that you think a franchise should. They go ahead and they decide they met with the commissioner's report related to the Houston Astros investigation. And given the findings in the commissioner's ruling, they decided that it would be not possible for Alex to effectively lead the club moving forward. And they mutually agreed to part ways. So we have a caller on the line right now, and we'll let that one come right through.
Hey, what's going on, Billy?
Hey, what's going on, Tordai? What do you got?
Oh, man, I just want to say I think LSU is the greatest single-season football team of all time.
Yeah. Well,
for the NCAA, I don't think that there's anyone that can take that crown. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think they absolutely put together probably like one of the most impressive seasons ever. I think Joe Burrow finished up with, 60 touchdowns or so? I mean,
yeah,
50
that's not
or
counting
60.
the 5 rushing he had.
So, I mean, he played an otherworldly year. I honestly don't watch college to know how good all their special, how good all their players are on offense. But I know Moss's son has been really good out of the tight end position, and they just seem to be able to score at absolute will. As far as like comparing them to other teams, would you put them up in the rankings of like that 05 Texas team? Do you think they would be better than them?
Absolutely. I would take LSU over that 05 Texas team, hands down.
Yeah?
I really would. I mean, they not only had the offense, arguably the greatest offense in the history of college football, but their defense was lights out. I mean, their safety won the Jim Thorpe Award. What's his name? LePreston, or I forgot the guy's name, but he's unbelievable too. I mean, their D-line, I mean, they were just stacked throughout the whole team. And they've got that freshman cornerback who is unbelievable too, Stingley, who's also their punt returner. That kid's going to be a top 5 pick in the draft in a few years. I mean, what else could you want from a team? I loved what Texas had, and Vince Young was incredible, but they only put up 20. What was the score of that Rose Bowl?
Yeah, I think Clemson only put up like 25. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, no. When Texas played USC, I mean.
Yeah. They might have put up like 30 or something like that.
Yeah, they weren't scoring at will. They couldn't stop LSU. I mean, even they gave their best effort. And Clemson, I mean, they were arguably on the best run a college team's had in a long, long time. Maybe I can't. They went 730 days without losing a game.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you. I think Clemson was absolutely, a team that everybody thought would probably – people thought that this may be a mismatch, but I think people thought that Clemson, even though they didn't play that many people, because they haven't won, because they haven't lost in so long, because they've been such a firepower, especially with Trevor Lawrence coming on so strong at the end of the year, I think a lot of people looked at them pretty favorably. So for LSU to cut through them like they did, it was very impressive. Even just going through Oklahoma like they did, I still kind of can't get over that, and how much of a mismatch that was, and how they were just able to score on. I think it was 7 straight drives they scored touchdowns on. Joe Burrow.
Yep, it was incredible to watch. I mean, as a football fan, that was as otherworldly as you're probably going to see.
Let me ask you this. I mean, everybody keeps saying that Joe Burrow's going to get drafted to Cincy and that the Bengals are going to ruin him. This is what I keep hearing. Do you subscribe to that at all, or do you think he's good enough to beat that?
If I'm the Bengals, I take Burrow 1 overall, not a question.
Yeah.
And then I take rounds 2, 3, and 4, and I draft O-line talent because they have the worst O-line I've ever seen. It was borderline unwatchable this year. I mean, the quarterback was under duress constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, they came together.
He was awful. He was awful, too.
And they have the weapons to be one of the top offensive teams in the league, for sure.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be I just keep hearing all these people thinking that Joe Burrow's going to get ruined, and I don't know. I'd never subscribe to those things. I think when you're a top quarterback, you get thrown into the fire. Peyton Manning got thrown into the fire his rookie year, and there's countless other guys. John Elway. I mean, plenty of guys have been, and I think that Joe Burrow's got to be a guy that you can't be afraid to kind of throw into the fire. Start right away. I mean, is that pretty much your thought? Get him.
Yeah, and I mean,
take him one and start him.
They had a first-year head coach in Zach Taylor, who I think has some potential. Yeah, it was a gross year, but it was his first year. And I think he'll obviously have a better grip on things. He's a young guy. He supposedly was coming in as an offensive guru, but unfortunately, I mean, A.J. Green was out the whole damn year. I mean, you're just looking at all sorts of issues.
Tyler Eifert too.
Yeah, Eifert as well. I mean, it was just a tough year for him, I think, and I do think that they'll have a much better showing, especially with a guy like Burrow under center. I mean, his talent's pretty impressive. I don't think I've seen a better quarterback in college than him.
I don't think I have either. I mean, it's amazing. Like, you look at these guys, like Jamar Chase had 221 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's like you think these are numbers that the quarterback's going to pass for. I mean, it's like he threw for 463 yards, and it's like He also
and that's
ran
not
for
counting the 60-yard bomb that Chase dropped.
exactly. So it's like, and then Justin Jefferson threw in 100 of his own while Moss got a couple touchdowns. Now, I don't know too much on Moss. I mean, I've seen him like show up on when like Randy Moss gets all pumped up and when he scores, but it seems like he doesn't have quite the NFL pedigree that his dad did. Is that accurate?
No, he does. He looks kind of fat.
Yeah,
slow. He looks like
I would never expect Randy Moss's son to look like that, quite frankly. He's a big block.
No, you would never expect that from the great Randy Moss's son. You would think that this kid was fast as could be. But, I mean, Randy clearly wasn't, pulling the LeVar Ball and
the abuse.
breeding studs, He married, that was his childhood sweetheart or whatever.
Well, speaking of LeVar Ball, his son's coming on a little bit. Lonzo has been playing quite well lately. You've been following that?
Oh, yeah. No, Lonzo's looking great. I mean, he's turning into what everyone thought he could turn into. And just wait until he has Zion to lob the ball, too. I actually think pretty highly of Lonzo. I think he's very mature. He's dealt with a lot of shit, all caused by pretty much his father being an absolute nut job.
Oh, yeah.
But I think LaMelo is going to set the league on fire when he gets to the NBA.
I do, too.
I think this kid is Steph Curry-level talent.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it's also – everybody's looking for these tall guys now, like 6'10". I mean, you're looking for like 6'10" shooting guards. Like, what is Kevin Durant? He's basically a 6'10", 7-foot shooting guard, and it's like he's going to basically be like a 6'10" shooting guard. I mean, it's with unlimited range. I mean, it seems like he's going to be an absolute can't miss. I mean, he's definitely going to be a top 5 pick.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, I think that they've got everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, Burrow definitely proved to be as good as advertised. Do you think that that's the best storybook ending kind of to a career? So this guy comes in, wins the Heisman. I mean, I know you said it was kind of like the best run ever, but do you think it's the best like storybook ending as well? Just coming in, undrafted basically when we started the year, kind of as a prospect, wins the Heisman, wins the, is going to be the number 1 pick, obviously wins the championship. Can you think of, I think of Tebow, but do you think this is the best kind of storybook ending for a single player too?
I think in NCAA, yes, hands down. I think that the Malcolm Butler pick will always live on as a guy who was working at, where was he, at McDonald's or a Popeyes or some Southern chain or Chick-fil-A, wherever he was. He was frying stuff and came off the couch to pick it off on the last play. That was incredible. I think I'd give it to him in the NFL. But in terms of Joe Burrow walking off for his LSU career, college-wise, I mean, yeah, I think that this is – you're talking about a third, fourth-string guy at Ohio State.
Yep.
Coaches didn't want to give it to him. He showed up. I was looking at his stats today. He showed up whenever he got action. I mean, he was averaging 70% completion percentage in his freshman and sophomore year whenever they gave him some pity time or he had to come in for injury. Whatever happened, he looked good out there when he actually got playing time. And they just didn't see it with him. I don't know what it was, what they missed, but for whatever reason, they didn't think Joe Burrow was going to be their guy. And it's crazy to imagine that there's a lot of other quarterbacks out there that could potentially be that good that, might not even get a shot in the NFL because
it's amazing to think that there's another undrafted Joe Burrow type prospect that's sitting out there at the beginning of this college season, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that there's absolutely talent that goes wasted and doesn't get their NFL shot. And Burrow's a great story for anyone who's been through a lot to get to where they are, to just continue fighting and just not give up on their dreams. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and I think it was just, from Dabo Swinney, guys are really a class act, and he was just saying it's been a long time since he had been in front of such a team, with a loss, but he was just like, tonight was all about LSU. What an unbelievable game, unbelievable quarterback. It was everything that you had said. And, Dabo Swinney just kind of seemed to give ultimate credence to that because, he's a top guy and, it was just like LSU just pants them. So, and then Ed Orgeron, talking about how Burrow is going to go down as one of the greatest players in history, and couldn't agree more with you that, I think he definitely is the best quarterback that I can remember in some time. I mean, I can't even remember, how good was Aaron Rodgers? Was Aaron Rodgers better than him?
No, Cal, no way.
Yeah.
No, well, the thing is, Burrow had the weapons, too.
Yeah.
I mean, Burrow, the weapons, he had a wide receiver. I'd compare it to the Clemson wide receiving class when they had DeAndre Hopkins, Sammy Watkins, and Martavis Bryant all in the same wide receiver corps. That's what I see out of these LSU guys, man. I really mean it. I think that these are all talents that were going underappreciated until this year, but now it's like clear as day that they're all studs.
Yeah. No, well, hey, Alex, we definitely appreciate you calling in, spending a little time on the program. I'll let you get back to it. Great stuff. Go Tigers, and have a good evening.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Billy.
Yeah, of course, man.
Awesome. Have a great night.
All right, you too. All right. So great stuff out of Alex there. Go Tigers, go. It really was a storybook ending. An absolute crazy year for LSU. 14-0, number one in the Southwestern East, and they just blew everybody away down the stretch. Whether it was Georgia in the SEC championship game, whether it was Oklahoma blowing them to shreds, and then Clemson. And you just talked about it with the people that they have. The quarterback play has been unreal in Joe Burrow, a guy that was an undrafted guy as far as people had looked at it. And now he's throwing 7 touchdowns a game, it seems like. It's just unbelievable what this guy is doing in the NCAA. And, when he's right across the way from Trevor Lawrence, who we think is an all-generation quarterback, and doing some of these things, throwing for 463 yards, throwing for 5 touchdowns. It's just truly incredible stuff. It's Madden-esque numbers, and I really can't remember anybody who's had such a storybook season. So definitely have to agree on what Alex said there. Now, we were talking about it a little bit, where the Red Sox, Alex Cora actually had just gotten, the news had come out that the Red Sox had relieved him of duties, and, things are going to change a little bit here, because Boston Red Sox, they're usually a team, you don't know what they're going to do. I feel like every year they change up their strategy. This year, we don't want to spend a lot of money. We're going to laugh at the Yankees and put pieces together with like Mike Napoli, Shane Victorino. The next year, we're going to sign guys like Panda, go way over the luxury tax. And it's kind of always this set and reset, and they're always kind of changing, advertising to the pink hats, and they're always changing what's going on. You heard reports earlier today that they were going to stand by Alex Cora, and I think a lot of people were like, well, why would they do that? A.J. Hinch just got fired, and the players really said that A.J. Hinch didn't have a whole lot to do with it, whereas the players had kind of said that Alex Cora was right in the middle of things. So, Alex Cora, heavily implicated in this MLB investigation, in the Astros scandal, as well as with the Red Sox. And with A.J. Hinch getting a year, you've got to imagine that the over-under for Alex Cora is at least a year suspension from baseball. And the Red Sox actually acting quickly and deciding, hey, they're not going to stand by. They're not going to wait for the judgment. And you got to actually give the Red Sox, you got to give them a little bit of a clap here, because the Red Sox actually acting out and taking action rather than waiting for the MLB. I was waiting because the timeline is getting a little bit closed here. You've only got about a month or so till spring training. People start to head down there pretty early. So you have to make a move. And the Red Sox, they decide they're not going to wait for Major League Baseball. They decide to get rid of Alex Cora, mutually part. And like I said, if I'm Alex Cora, I'm expecting at least a year punishment, probably a year plus. I don't think it's going to be a 2-year punishment. I don't know if it's going to be a 1.5, but I would definitely say it's probably going to be at least over 1 with the precedent that they're setting with A.J. Hinch, a guy that really wasn't as involved. And we've got one ringing through right here. Hi, you're on with Open Season. Who do we got?
Aaron Davis. How's it going, Billy?
Aaron, how you doing, my man? It's going great.
Man, I can't complain, brother, man. I've been wanting to call into the show for the past couple of weeks. You've been so busy. It's been so popular. I couldn't get through. I'm happy I got through this time, man.
Well, hey, man, I'm happy you did too. We definitely will have to get a special bat. We'll have to get a special bat signal for you, so that we know.
I know. I need my own personal line. When I call, you have to get it like I have to bring their alarms or something. Man, I need my own personal line. Got it. You need to get that together.
Well, hey, man, I'm glad you survived from the flu. That seemed to be the flu is no joke, and I'm glad you survived.
Man, I did. And just take your vitamins, drink some water, and stay positive. That's it. But these germs are the weather. It's the weather. The weather changes every day. 1 minute it's wintertime, next minute it's summer. Wait half hour. Spring's around the corner. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
Let me know when
it's nearly impossible to stay healthy through a winter in New England with 60-degree days between 28-degree days, right?
You hit the nail smack dab on the head, Billy.
But hey,
hit the nail smack dab on the head.
I know you didn't call in to talk that. What's on your mind?
All right, I got two things in my mind. One, long live Jason Tatum.
Long live
Jason Tatum. The 41-point game was amazing. It was amazing. It was a great showcase of his skill set. I'm very excited about my boy JB. Jalen's playing out of his mind, but I must give my most improved award to Cantor. I called your show before, and I was hard on Cantor. I was very hard on Cantor. Cantor has been producing for the past 5, 6, 7 games. I think he's averaging a double-double. Look out below. You know what I'm saying? So very excited. And we need one more piece before the trade deadline. I think we could really go out there and get a half-decent big man, and we'll be all right, Billy. I would feel a lot more confident walking into after the All-Star break, taking care of the second half of the season, and going into the steak and meat and potatoes of the season where everybody's good to go. Gordon Hayward's back now. We're starting to get a little more solidified. I think we'll be all right.
All right. Now, is there a big man? Because I think this would be $1 million question, but is there a big man that you see as acquirable, or you would like them to set their sights on?
I was very excited a couple of days ago when I read across the ticker that Serge Ibaka. You know what I'm saying? We're flirting with that. If we get Serge, I think I'll be all right. I think we can definitely handle the juggernauts out west. We can handle the Clippers. We can handle the Lakers. When it comes to the middle and how the middle breaks down and what we have to do, I believe in Stevens. I believe in our coach. I believe he'll figure out a system to be as fluid and consistent and productive in the post. That's what we need. We need rebounders, and we need folks who can protect the rim. That's about it, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Davis Bertans is a name that's been going around from the Washington Wizards, a guy that's having a career year, putting up 15 and a half, putting up 5 boards or something. He's not quite like that post presence that we maybe need. He's maybe closer to a Kevin Love than he is probably
he can't play with his back to the hoop. He can't play with his back to the hoop just yet.
I think they do need a little help there because they do have some guys. I mean, I think your point is well taken. They have Enes Kanter is, if you actually look at his per, I believe he has a top 10 in the NBA per, and I believe Daniel Tice is on the same line as that as well. You're getting these two backup centers to basically play as good as a starting center together, but the only problem is that when they go against, and who they're going to have to go against, they're going to have to go against the 76ers. And when you go against the 76ers, I think you're going to have to bring out another big man. To be able to put Tatum in there at the 4, you're just going to be way too small, and you're going to get abused. If Joel Embiid takes his head out of his butt and plays the game that we know he can play, I mean, then he should just be able to dominate on size alone. So they have guys like Robert Williams has got the hip. The Frenchman is out. And then, you're kind of talking about getting these two pieces together, but it seems like maybe they need another bench piece too, maybe another wing.
Right.
But yeah, the Celtics are definitely doing really good. I mean, what did you think about the effort last night against Chicago? Did you watch that game at all?
I didn't watch the whole game. I caught some of the highlights. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, nothing too surprising. Nothing too surprising. I think everybody's legs are a little bit tired, to be honest with you. I think everybody's eyeing the All-Star break, to be honest. So, you know what I'm saying? There's a couple of miscues I could see, like, as far as how the offense being moved. You know, of course, Kemba had the flu, so he's still recovering. So, but that's I look at different things when I'm watching the game. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. I can't put it to words, but I'm looking at, you know, how the chemistry works, how the flow works, how we're responding on defense. And it's such an anxiety attack because I'm looking at every game as if it's a playoff game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, all right. Because that's the level of, that's the only way I'm, like, you know, critiquing our squad, you know? Mm-hmm. Did anything jump off the page for you last night with the boys?
Well, I mean, the thing that jumped off the page for me was actually something you hit on. I mean, Cantor got the start and was very productive. I think he was 15 and 9 or something like that in 26 minutes. So
that's not bad.
I thought he did pretty well. Yeah, exactly. You're getting this guy to – and I was wondering this the whole way through because Cantor is a guy that traditionally – I mean, he never gets a million minutes, but he's usually around like 25 or something. And earlier in this year, he was only getting about 15, and I was wondering if that was going to keep him happy enough. You see him kind of getting to the point where he's producing enough to earn the minutes where, you know, he's kind of used to been getting. So that's really nice. And then
I think a lot of it was mental. A lot of it was really understanding the role he had to play and realizing, look, I got to step up. You know what I'm saying? Because if not,
otherwise Tice is going to be getting my minutes.
Tice is going to be yelking up the minutes, and Tice is good. He understands the system. He plays well within it. And we need Cantor. We need every rebound we can get in the postseason. That's a fact. That's a fact. When we lost to Philly, out rebounding. We lost to the Bucks, I believe. I'm not mistaken, or was it the Raptors a few weeks back?
Yeah, we lost to the Raptors a few weeks back when they were actually undermanned. That was a tough one.
That was a tough one. And you look at the stat sheet, look at the sheet, and you see the Raptors were up 10 boards. They were up 10 boards.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And they didn't even have their studs in. So
and they didn't even have Siakam.
So I mean, you got to wonder what this team could do if they were going against some of that major height.
Right. I mean, we play against LA. It's cook season. We're cooked in the middle. We're cooked.
I mean, I don't even want to. I think we're cooked regardless. I think if they give us Dwight Howard, I think we're still cooked in that game. But
as much as it pains me to say, but it's true though. It's like, yeah, we're cooked. Their middle is tough. They got, you know, AD. That's what I'm comparing us to be honest.
So
we say AD. Go ahead.
So with kind of where you're putting them, like, is this basically a team that you think needs to make the championship to kind of validate their I mean, it seems like you're putting the Celtics pretty high. Where are you kind of putting them in? In the Eastern Conference, at least, where are you putting them?
Oh, I believe we could win the East. To be honest, I believe I don't believe in Embiid. That's basically what I'm saying.
Yep.
That's basically what I'm saying.
Or Giannis, I guess.
Or Giannis, he doesn't strike that. He struck fear in me last year. This year, even though his numbers are off the paper, he's another great year. His jumper has improved tremendously, right? So it's not Giannis that concerns me. I think them losing Middleton hurt them. Not Middleton, but
Brogdon.
Brogdon. That's going to hurt because Brogdon was, if you think about it, last year, he was like the second option. Between him and Middleton, it was like swing second, third option. So, I think I'm not afraid of them. I think we can beat them. I think Kemba's a lot. If it was Brogdon and Kemba going head to head, I would be like, okay, we got a 7-game series on our hands. You know what I'm saying? But
so you think this team is easily basically going to? Well, I mean, maybe not easily, but you think this team will be in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Yes.
All right.
I think so. I'm going on the record and I'm saying it. I think we have the best coach in the East. I think we have the most think about it, Billy. There are a few teams that still have a great, strong core together that was there the year before. We're one of them, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And Kemba jumped. You got to think about it. Kemba's going to be in the playoffs, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's lived for these moments. He couldn't sniff a playoff in Charlotte, right?
Oh yeah, he's finally got a chance to compete.
You know, he's finally. You know what I'm saying? So that's a different fire. He's from New York. I understand his dog. I feel as though you take Terry Rozier's dog and put it in Kemba's chest, right? And Kimba's a way better player than Terry. But Terry had that no fear mentality, right? That's why That's why I loved it. Kimba has that, and he has a strong skill set, and you have to double him. Kimba, Tatum, JB. I mean,
yeah, you got to start picking between there.
Hayward. I think everybody's giving Hayward the side eye because he's been hurt, but we're a better team with him on the floor.
And I'm rooting for him just because Grant Williams says he's going to dye his hair pink if 3 Celtics reach the All-Star game. So I want to be able to keep those chances up there. I mean, I know it seems like Taco is going to be – Taco is a for sure, but, we gotta see about some of these other guys.
Yeah, Tatum, Kemba, and Jalen.
Yeah, I mean, Taco's a lock. I don't know about the others.
That's unfortunate because
you've seen the voting, how he's still up there, right?
Yeah, of course. He's more so like a phenomenon by himself.
Hey, I want to ask you this. Bill Simmons tried to sell a pretty unpopular opinion today. He said that Reggie Miller wasn't a superstar. What's your take on that?
That's false.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right?
I don't know.
That's tough.
I don't know. Superstar? Who's he calling a superstar?
I don't know. He just got into this article where, it said that ex-Pacers star Reggie Miller was not a superstar. He kind of got into what a superstar has to do. He said a superstar has to sell tickets, generate interest nationally and locally, guarantee an average team 45 to 50 wins, and potentially be the best player on an NBA Finals team if places fall into place. So that was his checklist.
Okay, so I think Reggie Miller is there with all of those except for the champion, best player in championship team.
Yeah.
To be honest, if we're using that criteria.
Yeah.
And you got to think about the era in which he played too, like the competition. Are you serious? Not super.
Exactly.
What?
And I mean, he was going against the Knicks. I mean, when he went against the Knicks, we all kind of look back and say, yeah, sure, they had Rick Smits or whatever. But when he was going against the Knicks, I mean, it was pretty much him.
It was just pretty much him, and he was giving you buckets.
Yeah, and he was single-handedly taking them out. And if you don't have Jordan there, you got to assume that they probably win a championship or two. So he's probably that best player on that finals team.
Right. Again, he checks if we're using that criteria, he checked all the boxes except for going to the chip. Getting to the big dance, and he had Michael Jeffrey Jordan in front of him. So, I mean, what do you expect?
I just thought it was funny to see it in print that he wasn't a superstar. I mean, I think of Reggie Miller, but I guess I think of so many other guys as superstars too. I mean, it's a tough one.
Think about it.
It's a tough one. But at the end of the day, I'm saying superstar over not superstar. It's tough. And then
I agree.
How about this? Did you see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's night last night? He went 20, 20, and 10. 20 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists.
That's amazing.
Seems like as long as you play for Oklahoma City, you're bound to get some pretty good triple-double stats.
Exactly.
Him and Russell Westbrook, the last 2 players to put that up in the last 50 years or something. So, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I believe he's only 22. So putting up some pretty nice stats.
These young kids, man, are coming in a lot more athletic, a lot more. They're coming in basically damn near whole players. You know what I'm saying? On both sides of the end of the floor, trying to make sure they get this shot right, trying to make sure they're trying to get it. The only person, in my opinion, that I'm just so annoyed with is Ben Simmons because he can't
make anything aside from 3 feet away from the cup.
I'm just never going to understand that.
I just don't get how people haven't completely found out how you guard him. It's like if you keep him away from 3 feet to the basket, he's not going to score.
Exactly.
You just got to put somebody in front of him that's just not going to let him near the paint. He literally, I think 90-something% of his buckets come within 3 feet of the paint or 3 feet of the cup. It's ridiculous. I've never seen a player that's been, well, I guess in
the
this
league this long.
Yeah. And I guess in this type of NBA where you've got to make threes Giannis, LeBron, these guys are making 2 threes a game. Guys that you never would have thought you saw were making 2 threes a game.
Right. Right, but they gave LeBron the same knock too. But LeBron, I don't know. Like to me, a skill set like that, it's all about work ethic and discipline. At the end of the day, you wasn't taking enough shots that you thought you needed to take in the off season. Period. Whatever you needed to do in the off season, you didn't do it. Whatever you were trying to do wasn't successful because it's not correlating on the floor. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not. And they're playing off of you. Like you're in the NBA, you can't hit a 17-footer. At least be the mid-range warrior. You know what I'm saying? If you can't stretch all the way to the three, at least be the mid-range killer until you show something, right? A fadeaway, something.
I know you got to be able to do something. I mean,
and again, that's why I'm
especially
saying
when the knock is on you that you can't make it. Exactly. It's like clog the paint. Now, I love quotes, and here, I'll go to another one. Jimmy Butler says that LeBron is still the NBA's all-around best player. What do you think on that?
All-around best, the NBA's all-around best player. If it wasn't Kawhi, I would definitely give him LeBron. Yes, LeBron is the best. Is the best. Yes, I agree. But Kawhi Leonard's right there. I can refute that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple names. I think Giannis.
Kawhi.
I think Kawhi. I think James Harden are probably people that you have to put in that conversation. And I would say that he's probably a top 5, like if you have to maybe break it down. But, to have a list of like the toughest 5 and still have LeBron on it, he still does everything well.
Right.
Pass, shoot, attack the rim.
Do you think LeBron's in the LeBron cliff is coming?
I think he is. I think we're in the year. I have said this before, but I think this is the last year that LeBron is going to be like who we know as LeBron, I guess, where he's like that dumb. Like I think it's going to start to slowly fall off a little bit. I think this is the first year that, we'll basically not look at him in that like top 5 probably next year.
Right. Okay.
So,
I put it in,
but I still think he's going to be a top 10 player for probably for probably like 2 more years or 3 more years. And I think he's very motivated. I think he has a new motivation to try to play with his son too. You hear a lot of talk about that.
That's going to be interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I think LeBron is doing to AD what Dwayne Wade did for him.
Yeah.
When AD came in, it was very clear. The Lakers organization said that we're going to go through AD first. I'm pretty sure LeBron echoed those same sentiments, right? You know what I'm saying? He's trying to guarantee and etch in, teach this kid how to win, teach this kid what it looks like to lead, teach this kid what it feels like, what the playoffs look like, what your intensity should be like, what energy, what motor you should be on to really be a successful superstar in this league, especially playing for the Lakers organization. So I think he's setting it up correctly. I'm spoiled because I came through the Jordan era where it was so night and day. Like, who's the best? MJ.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you can. There were.
Now
some
there's
who
at
would
least thought.
argue. Now it's like, wait, I don't know who is. It could be Giannis. You got those supporters. It could be Kawhi. It could be, it can go on and on. So if it's not unequivocally LeBron, you know what I'm saying? Then I feel away, but. It's just the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? And don't forget, KD has a year off. So if KD comes back, he's definitely going to be in that conversation.
Yep.
Let's not forget. But don't get basketball amnesia. Like, this guy's not a 7-footer with a jumper.
Hey, come on, man. Recency bias. Come on. That's 2020. We're all about what have you done for me lately? Who's KD?
Hey, you got to know who's coming to the back door sometimes, Billy.
I'm going to recognize him when he comes to the Garden. That's for damn sure.
You can't miss him.
Hey, I'll leave you on this. There's been a lot of details around like a potential Andre Drummond swap. It seems like there's a lot of buzz. Seems like a deal may get done before the deadline. Do you see Andre Drummond moving? Do you see any good fits for him? And like, what are your thoughts on him just as like a player?
I think. How old is he now? He's not old yet, but I mean, he's a consistent double-double, supposed to be. 15 and 10. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
20 and 10. I think he can do that. I think he'll be a good fit for anybody who's looking. I'm not mad at it, right? You know what I'm saying? He's not as. It's gonna sound weird. He's not the most athletic person that I'm looking for, right? He fills the role. He can fill the hole.
He's 26, by the way.
Okay.
Older than I thought.
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking he was young. He was like in his first, like 31, 32, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I really was. But I mean, he doesn't give me the butterflies, to be honest, Billy. He's a consistent guy. He can give you a double-double, but he doesn't jump off the page for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, he should protect the rim a bit better for his size, I think, is a criticism.
Right. I need somebody that's going to give me length, that's going to run the floor, athletic, can hit that, 10, 11 footer. You know what I'm saying?
You just said athletic. I think we cut him out.
That's it. Say it again.
I said you just said athletic. I think we have to cut him out. He's not the most athletic. He's a big
he's
moose.
Not the most athletic. Right. He's a big moose. You know what I'm saying? He's like a tree trunk. You know what I'm saying? But he's just out there. But he will produce. But I think for the young team that we have, I kind of want somebody who can run with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I want us to be able to get them down that floor pretty good. Someone who's strong enough. We need somebody who's athletic, thin, long, but still has strength. And still could get in there and bang with the AD, the Embiids, the Al Horfords of the world. And
they're definitely going to have to. I mean, they need to get another big man, I think, to be able to feel confident going against the 76ers. They're going to be in a battle there,
It's going to be a battle, man. It's going to be a battle. And depending upon what mood Embiid is in, depicts the series to a certain extent. But Ben Simmons, he's a coward in my book. Same thing with Embiid. You can get in his head and you can get in Embiid's heart.
Yep.
And that's why I believe we have a shot.
And Brett Brown's a bad coach. We've seen him mismanage how many wins against this team too.
Right. Their coaching's not. I mean, come on. I think we checked the other boxes, the other intangibles that Philly they don't have. I'm really mad that we don't have Al. I think if we had Al, I'll be ecstatic. I think I would be outside with a Celtics tattoo on my forehead, like we got this. Let's go. I'm confident. I'm not there yet, though. I'm not there yet.
No, if we had Al, it would certainly be a big difference. And hey, Aaron, we definitely appreciate you calling into the program. Great stuff as always. And I hope you have a good rest of your evening, man.
All right, Billy, have a great one. Great show, man. I'll keep doing what you're doing, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Have a good one.
You too. Peace.
All right, later. So good stuff as always out of Aaron. The Celtics are in a great position right now. They've got this young balance of a team where you still just kind of are deciding on how they're going to make this team the ultimate competitor. They've got so many assets. They've got Jaylen Brown, as he mentioned, who's an all-improved candidate. You've also got Aaron's most improved, he says, is Enes Kanter, who's really playing well and he's got like a top 10 per. So does Daniel Tice. So you've got these guys playing well. You've got them. They went on kind of a cold streak, losing 3 straight last week. But then you came back with the Tatum game where he scored 41. He scored 41. And then last night you had Tatum scoring 21 in a win over Chicago. Pretty good distribution on that win. So they've been able to beat the teams that they have to, and they've been able to keep a pretty good record. So the Celtics are definitely a team that I think should be flirting with a top, being one of those teams that makes it to the Eastern Conference Finals out of the East. I totally agree where I think Ben Simmons, and we've got another one ringing through here. Hi, you're on with Open Season. Who do we got?
Yo, Whitey from Queens.
Whitey, what's going on?
Not much, my man. I wanted to call to get the topic back onto football because, I'm still it's too early to be talking about the NBA, bro. Come on.
Hey. I follow my callers. Come on. I'm a good host. I talk about what you guys want to talk about. All right. So where are you taking me? The Tony Romo contract? The Chiefs are Super Bowl favorites? Where are we going here?
There's so many NFL stories right now. It's like, where do you even begin? And especially, I wanted to call in and gush about Joe Burrow, but I know your first caller already did that. But as a Steelers fan, I'm absolutely petrified that this kid's gonna just destroy the Steelers for the next 15 years.
As you should be.
I honestly don't get it, man. Listening to Colin Cowherd, Nick Wright, all these people still have doubt over Joe Burrow. It's like this kid threw 60 touchdowns this year and scored 65 touchdowns. Like it's crazy. How can
Yeah,
do you find any weaknesses in this kid's game? Like
I don't see any
come
weaknesses. I think he's absolutely incredible. Like we were kind of talking in that first segment, but I think the biggest thing, why people are criticizing it is because he was like an undrafted prospect basically before the year, and now you've got him as like the clear-cut number one. So I think that's the biggest thing I think that people are questioning.
Yeah, it's like, give me a break, though. I mean, like Tom Brady literally got drafted in the 6th round. He's the best quarterback of all time. It's just like, shut up. It doesn't matter about
Well, they may look at some of the weapons that this guy's got too. You know, they really do have a pretty star-studded team.
Like, dude, do you realize the highest drafted quarterback in the playoffs in the NFL right now is Ryan Tannehill, and he basically has been throwing for like 80 yards all playoffs. Like, basically, he just hands the ball off to Derrick Henry.
Do you think Derrick Henry can keep it up? I mean, can he run for 200 yards every game? I mean, he's been doing it the past couple.
I mean, he did it against the Pats and the Ravens, who have very good defenses. And now he's about to face the Chiefs, who, I mean, come on, the Chiefs don't have a good defense, right? I mean,
they've trended in a better direction towards the end, but you know, the thought was kind of that they don't have a good defense, but they have played a little bit better towards the end. But
yeah, I'm not going to I'm not going to say that the Titans are going to beat the Chiefs because it's like the Chiefs. You could fall down 24 points, and Pat Mahomes will just like engineer like 2-minute drives and just light it up. You know, so I'm not about to call that the Titans are about to upset the Chiefs, but it's like that is the way to beat the Chiefs, right? Dominate the
clock. Yeah,
that's the only way to beat the Chiefs. Really, like you can't expect to beat the Chiefs in a shootout, right?
No, and I don't think that's going to be their bread and butter going into that at all. I think it's going to be try to work the clock as much as they can. I think you got to be crazy to expect Tannehill to throw for around 100 yards again. I think he's got to have a better performance, and I think he will, but I've just been absolutely amazed at Derrick Henry. You know it's coming every single time, and
you still can't
Vrabel
stop
has said this. It's like when you know you can run it every time, and they can't stop it. That's really a test. And I mean, you look at how good their play action is as a result of it, and they really haven't been making much use of it in the playoffs here. But it really was. That's the thing, too, is Tannehill's basically gotten carried on 2 duds. So, did he get his duds out of the way? Does he actually play decent going into this weekend? I mean, I can't imagine him playing much worse than the other 2 starts.
I mean, I don't even think he played poorly. I just don't think he literally did not have to do anything. I mean, last week, though, he did throw a couple of really nice touchdown passes, though. Like, basically, like, his only – like you probably had like 10 like completions, but like 2 of those were like touchdown throws, right?
Yeah.
So it's like he literally did not have to do anything, and so I can't see the Chiefs stopping Derrick Henry, and I think that'll probably be the difference. But I'm not about to say that the Titans are going to beat the Chiefs because
I'm not ready to call that either. I think that's where
Pat
it ends.
But do you have an idea what the spread is?
I don't know what the spread is on that game.
I think it's like maybe 7.5, possibly.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, like I'm down to bet on the Titans, but I'm not about to like say they're going to win.
Yeah, but I mean, let's see what the spread is. So it's 7.5.
Oh, I called it. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a tough one. I think, unfortunately, the Titans have done everything they can, but I think they run out of luck against the Chiefs. I just think the Chiefs score too many points, and I think they can do it in too short order. I mean, Mahomes is just too good.
Yeah, like I think the only 2 teams that could beat the Chiefs are probably the 49ers, only because their defense is so good, and the Titans, only because Derrick Henry is so good that they're going to have possession the entire game. You know what I mean?
Now, you mentioned that there's something that you're going to be afraid of in your division in Joe Burrow. Lamar Jackson's been stopped in 2 straight playoff games. What do you think about that? And, as he moves forward, do you think there's going to be some type of book out on him to some degree? What do you think of the future for Lamar Jackson moving forward?
If I was a Ravens fan, I would not be concerned at all. I mean, you're talking about, look at Peyton Manning. Like, his first 2 playoff games were awful too.
Yep.
And he did have, like, one of his picks last weekend was basically just the wide receiver not catching it and going directly to the DB, right?
Yeah.
But he had
360
400
yards
offense, right? 400 yards offense.
I think he almost had 500, I believe. I think I'm pretty sure he threw for 350 and ran for almost.
He ran for 100-something yards. Yeah.
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 So
I would
he
not
accounted
worry.
for a lot of offense, but that is not
like,
really the way that they do well when they chunk up that much offense usually.
Yeah. The thing with the Ravens is they're similar to the Titans where they're basically just establishing the run. Like, they're just Lamar Jackson's going to hand the ball off to what's his name, Ingram. The thing with Ingram was he was not healthy. He was not 100%. So they basically just abandoned the run, and it's basically just catch up. So I mean, it was just that's the thing about the NFL, man. Like, any team could beat any team in the playoffs. It's because it's one game. It's kind of like March Madness. It's like a far superior team can get upset. It doesn't work that way with baseball and basketball, where the better team will win.
Yeah.
So it's just you look at all. I mean, this kid's gonna be MVP. If you're a Ravens fan, you have literally a 22-year-old kid who just won an MVP. It's
yeah, no, and
if
if
you're
I'm
really
them,
concerned about this kid, just kick rocks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. After a 36 touchdown, 6 interception campaign and breaking the NFL rushing record and all that. Yeah, I just think it's funny because the second he loses, you get everybody coming out, Mahomes. And I get that Mahomes is the guy, but, it feels like people are already starting to say, maybe there's a book out on the Baltimore Ravens and how they play. Now, I got a bone to pick with you, Whitey. I think the Hall of Fame should now be the Hall of Mediocre because of a certain individual, Bill Cowher. How does that, you got to be honest with me, even as a Steelers fan, he's not a Hall of Famer, is he?
Let's see. He made the playoffs around 8 times, 15 seasons. He won a Super Bowl. He's been to another Super Bowl. Jimmy Johnson made the Hall of Fame. He only coached for 3 years, right?
Yeah, but
Jimmy
didn't
Johnson,
he win 3 Super Bowls?
I think Jimmy Johnson won 2, right? And then his
that's right. That's right. I think he won.
Yeah.
No. I'm mistaken. You're right. He did win 2, and then they brought in that other guy, I forget, from college. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like Bill Cowher never. If he had 200 wins or something I just don't necessarily see what it is that he has that's putting him over the top to be.
Yeah, honestly, man, I've called this show and I've repped Mike Tomlin heavy. Mike Tomlin's resume has been more impressive so far.
Yeah.
So if Bill Cowher makes it, Mike Tomlin's going to have to make it. But you know what it is? They only give Hall of Fame nods to coaches who are retired, right? So it's there's so many legendary coaches right now. There's Andy Reid, there's Bill Belichick. Tomlin's not at their level. Tomlin has a Super Bowl. Andy Reid doesn't have a Super Bowl, but you would even agree, right? You think Andy Reid would make the Hall of Fame as a coach?
I think Andy Reid would make the Hall of Fame as a coach.
Yeah, even without
a
ring.
I think he's gonna get the Super Bowl that he needs to.
Yeah, I think he's going to get it either. I think this year is the best year for Andy Reid. If Andy Reid does not win a ring this year as a coach, it's it kind of feels like Drew Brees. This was the year for Drew Brees to finally win his second ring and be up there with in the mountaintop chat.
Yeah.
Of
the Troy Polamalu. Oh my God! He's a Hall of Famer all day. Should be first ballot. I can do this all day and do this objectively as possible. But I just feel like Bill Cowher, I feel like that opens up the door for so many other guys. You've probably got to say John Gruden's a Hall of Famer. You probably got to say so many other guys are Hall of Famers at that point if you put Bill Cowher in. So I don't know. I just don't see the win totals. Like if the win totals were there and then you've got a Super Bowl, you've made another appearance, sure. But
yeah, I think they could be giving him some credit as like an analyst. I don't know because
see, that's what I hate. I hope that's not taken into it because that's what I wonder too. It's like, oh, now that you're coach on the sidelines and everything, and everybody's like, positive with you every weekend. Are you a Hall of Famer because you're a good guy? And I don't want that.
Yeah, did you see how Waterboy had Jimmy Johnson and Bill Cowher in the stands watching Waterboy? Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
It's hilarious. Like Bill Cowher actually tweeted this. He's like, "Who would imagine like these two guys who were in Waterboy would make the Hall of Fame in the same exact year?"
Hey, well, I guess I'll leave you on this. Did you see Antonio Brown's latest crazy video?
Oh my God, dude, there's something wrong with him, man. I honestly I can't even
like yelling those words in front of his kids.
Yeah, and throwing a bag of dicks. That's what he was doing. There was like gummy bear dicks, and he's
like,
throwing.
Does he just get all of his buddies together and like figure out how they can systematically take away from his wealth every day before he gets out and goes somewhere?
My biggest question is, if you get into an altercation with police, why are you broadcasting it live on social media? Right? Doesn't that tell you like that?
It's like,
obviously
here's
means
me
that's
being a
stunt.
bad father.
Yeah, like that's obviously a publicity stunt because if 99% of people, if they ever get into an altercation with police or like get into an argument with police, they're not going to be filming it and posting it on social media.
Yeah.
Right? So he's just losing his mind. Like he's so desperate to get back in the NFL. He's just trying to like stay relevant. You know what I mean? Like he's just it's like KD is not nearly on the same level as Crazy, but you see the same kind of habit with KD where he's like responding to fans on Twitter. Because I think when you're like injured, if you're not playing, these kids are just so like bored, right?
They're just so into their phones, like unlike we've ever been.
And they're just so bored because they're not playing, they're not training like regularly, they're not like they're not practicing.
Like they talk about some of these interviews. I remember, like they'll say like some quarterbacks will be on their phone or something. Like, could you imagine getting an NFL gig? Like, what's more important? How could you possibly be like popping open your phone like while you're interviewing with a coach? That's going to give you like 10 million.
I completely foresee that happening. I can completely foresee like Antonio Brown like
totally
broadcasting his next
I got to
interview
FaceTime
live.
this.
Mike McCarthy. All right, I'm gonna be filming on my phone. All right, which?
Oh man, well,
dude,
hey,
this guy he was yelling, he was screaming the N-word at the cops too. Like I'm surprised they didn't arrest him. Like he was taunting the cops. Like
I know. What are we supposed to get out of that video? How is that supposed to help him at all?
Yeah. What are we? Yeah. Why are you doing that? Like I don't know. Like Antonio Brown. It's sad, really, when it comes down to it. Because back when he was on the Steelers. And when he was lighting it up, like he had like a regimented lifestyle, like he had like he kind of like had a good thing going for him.
Although he was crazy, there was a method to the madness.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I seriously think it's the worst Madden curse of all time.
I do too. I mean, it's got to be up there. Well, hey Whitey, we appreciate you checking in with us, and have a good night.
All right, buddy. Talk to you next week.
Take care. So, there we have Whitey checking in. I mean, Bill Cowher, for my money, the guy is not a Hall of Famer. 15 years, 8 playoff seasons, won a Super Bowl, made a Super Bowl. How wide does that open up the door for other guys? Now, a note that I got to talk about, my favorite ex-NFL player. My favorite, he's going to be playing for the XFL, but my favorite former NFL player, Chad Johnson, is actually trying out to be a place kicker in the XFL. So the XFL paying guys $35K. You wonder how that can work. Maybe you bring in some guys like Josh Johnson as the backup quarterback. Maybe you bring in guys like Ocho Cinco. But this should be interesting to see. Ocho Cinco has always been a guy that's been trying to look for a way to extend his career, extend the way that he's in the limelight, trying out to be a place kicker in the XFL. I was wondering if the XFL would even get off the ground, but sounds like Chad Johnson will be in it, and, can't wait to watch that. For me, I've got to say the Chiefs are my Super Bowl favorites. I got the 49ers as a close second, and that's going to do it for us. I think Derrick Henry is going to keep rolling, but I think everything kind of comes to an end finally, and I think the Chiefs are going to do it. I think they've got the firepower, and we'll be sitting here next week to talk about it as we finish another 9 to 10 o'clock hour here at Open Season. For Brian Murphy, I'm Billy Allen. We'll catch you next week.
I'm just not sure that Kyler Murray is big enough. This is Tom Brady. He's not just going to retire. Whitey, big fan of the show. Appreciate I've got Brian Murphy to my left, making sure everything's smooth, crispy, buttery. James Harden is systematically ruining the game of basketball. He's the most overrated player. And there you are, the Chicago Bears with a championship defense. And Mitch, I'm sure Dancing with the Stars is happy to have Antonio back. If you thought you were going to get Zion, that's your bad.